A very warm hello to all of you. Today we're going to dive into a short but incredibly powerful passage from the Qur'an. It's just 4 verses, but believe me, it packs a punch. It gives us a guide for handling doubt, for engaging with truth honestly, and for living a life of integrity. A message that, you'll see, feels more relevant today than ever before.
So let's start with a question that I think we've all faced at some point. What do you do when your deepest, most core beliefs are challenged? You know, when skepticism comes knocking, either from someone else or even from inside your own head. It can be a really tough spot to be in, and this ancient text offers a fascinating and maybe even surprising way to handle it.
All right, let's jump right in. The very first verse we're looking at gives us a guide for engaging with skepticism. And what's so remarkable is that it calls for a calm, evidence-based discussion, not a defensive, heated argument.
Now, at first glance, you might read this and think it's an invitation to doubt, but it's actually the complete opposite. It's a powerful instruction on how to respond to critics. The advice is to point them toward people who are knowledgeable, people who have studied previous scriptures, to show the consistency of the message. And then the verse immediately affirms, the truth has certainly come to you. It's there to reinforce your conviction, not create doubt.
So, you see what's happening here? The crucial point is the method. It's a model built on intellectual humility, go ask the experts, while at the same time holding firm to your conviction. It's all about having a real dialogue, not just a shouting match.
Okay, so after laying that foundation for honest conversation, the passage pivots. It delivers its first major warning, and it focuses on a very common and very dangerous way that people can misuse sacred texts.
The verse warns us not to be like those who make the scripture into portions. What a powerful image, right? It's this idea of breaking up a complete, holistic text into little bits and pieces just to suit your own agenda, while totally ignoring the big picture.
And of course, we have a modern word for this: cherry picking. The Quran is warning against twisting the divine message to get some kind of worldly benefit or to justify a personal bias. The text is clear. This approach might get you a small, temporary win, but it means you forfeit a much, much greater spiritual reward. It's a call for reading with integrity.
And from here, the intensity really ramps up. The passage builds to what it describes as the absolute height of injustice. We've moved from a warning about misinterpretation to identifying the most severe kind of spiritual wrongdoing.
This is a rhetorical question, and the answer is just hanging there in the air, isn't it? Obvious. No one. The text says that making up lies about the divine or denying signs that are crystal clear is the ultimate form of injustice. People who do this are even labeled al-mujrimin, the criminals, because they are violating a fundamental spiritual and ethical order.
And this brings us to this very heavy concept: theological dishonesty. The text makes it clear that this is not some abstract crime. No, it's a serious act that actively misleads other people, causing real spiritual harm. So guarding the integrity of sacred teachings is presented as a profound moral duty. Now, after those very stark warnings, the whole tone of the passage shifts. It's like the clouds part. It moves away from what not to do, and instead gives us this hopeful, clear vision of the positive path forward, the path of righteous action.
And here it is, the consoling conclusion. This serves as both a promise and a clear benchmark for success. The message is just so beautifully simple. Sincere belief must be paired with good deeds. It's not enough to just feel something in your heart. That faith has to be lived out through your actions. So this gives us a clear and really practical formula. It starts with sincere belief. That belief then gets translated into righteous actions. And the result, the promise from the text, is inclusion among the righteous. It's his beautiful, restorative journey that shows the way for anyone trying to live with integrity. So let's zoom out for a second. What does all of this mean when we put it together? Well, these 4 verses offer us a timeless toolkit, a whole methodology really, for how to approach truth and knowledge with integrity.
Let's just run through the key steps one more time. First, when faced with doubt, consult the people who know their stuff. Second, engage with texts honestly and completely, no cherry picking. Third, reject making things up and denying the plain truth. And finally, and this is so crucial, turn your belief into real, tangible, righteous action. That is the complete framework.
And that brings us to a final thought. In a world that is just flooded with misinformation, this 1400-year-old guide seems more vital than ever. It offers us a framework for seeking truth with humility, with integrity, and with action. So the real question is, how can we apply it to our own lives today? Thank you so much for joining me.